Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. So I'm reviewing all of George Harrison's albums and ranking them in individual videos. And up next is 1974's Dark Horse. So my history with this album is, once again, one of my older brothers bought it. So, I never owned it myself. And I heard, of course, Dark Horse. I remember hearing that and thinking, whoa, a little rough, very hoarse. And so it was kind of a shock to hear George, at the time thinking, oh, those are really bad vocals. And, you might say that even today. And then through the years, I did listen to this album, but kind of also ignored it. So it was never one that I played very much. Even, I think I did have it on vinyl at one point, and maybe even CD like years ago. But because I've become such a huge Harrison fan in the last few months, when I bought this, the first time I played it, certainly wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Overall, I enjoyed it. And I have played it, not as much as the other albums, but I've played it, and I played it last night, and today, actually. So I've played it probably about eight times, maybe 10, probably 8. I should write down every time I listen to an album. And I'll just read this. Dark Horse is the 5th studio album. It was released on Apple Records in December 1974 as the follow-up to Living in the Material World, which I gave an A+ to. Harrison wrote and recorded Dark Horse during an extended period of upheaval in his personal life. The songs focus on Harrison's split with his first wife, Pattie Boyd. So, it just goes on and on. So, he was probably going through a depression of some sort. He might have been drinking. He might have been doing some substances, as we all know, especially in the 70s. And, it was a dark period for him. So once again, he's so far with his albums, when he's recording, he's telling his listeners, his fans, his life and what he's going through. And Dark Horse features an array of guest musicians, including Tom Scott, Billy Preston, Willie Weeks, Andy Newmark, Jim Keltner, Ringo Starr, Gary Wright, and Ron Wood. It showed Harrison moving towards the funk and soul music genres, and produced the hit singles Dark Horse and Ding Dong Ding Dong. I don't think they were big hits, but they were, they had some success on the radio. The album was not well received by the majority of critics at the time, and probably most fans. It peaked at number 4 on Billboard's album charts in the US, which is not bad, and 42 in Canada. And it placed inside the top 10 in some European countries, but became Harrison's first post-Beatles solo album, not even to chart in Britain, which is pretty bad. So going through the songs quickly. The first song is an instrumental. I really do enjoy it. I don't know if, it's fine by me, but I'm thinking of the average George Harrison fan at the time. It might have been better to start the album with, a song with vocals on it. But I enjoy it. It's different tempos and everything. It's got horns, and it's got, a catchy riff and everything. So I really like it a lot. And I keep meaning to say, with this album, Living in the Material World, and maybe even All Things Must Pass. I think if I was listening to these albums more in the 70s and 80s, maybe even the 90s, I don't think I would love them the way I do today because I've matured. No, I think it has something to do with age, for me at least. And like I always say, even though some of his vocals aren't great on this album, especially one song, it doesn't bother me at all because it's George Harrison singing, right? And he's going, you can tell, you can hear he's going through a rough time in his life, especially with a song like So Sad, which is very catchy, but, it's depressing. And so Simply Shady, one of my favorites on the album, and that's the thing too. His vocals on some of the songs are actually pretty good. Maybe not as good as the previous two albums, but they're not bad. I think the worst for vocals is Dark Horse. And I did listen to the demo, the acoustic demo, and his voice sounded much better with the demo. And it's just too bad that he didn't record it at some other time, because Dark Horse is a friggin' great song. But for me, it doesn't ruin it with his rough vocals. I still love the song. But like I said, it would have been better if he had recorded it when his vocals weren't so hoarse. Maya Love, I really like a lot. Far East Man, like I said, a lot of these songs are mid-paced. There's no real rockers on this album. And that's why I'm saying in the 70s and 80s, I probably, this is boring. But now I'm more ready for this kind of mid-paced music. Not that I don't love to rock out. And Ding Dong Ding Dong, it's a fun, upbeat song. It's catchy. His vocals are, a little rough, of course. Not as rough as on Dark Horse, but it's a catchy song. And I always have really liked, especially the chorus. Far East Man is great. And the final song, I'll struggle saying it, so I'll just say the English. It Is He. I think that's has a catchy chorus, and it's a good way to end the album. I would say the worst song is Bye Bye Love. And he did add some of his own lyrics to the Everly Brothers classic. And this is about Eric Clapton and, of course, his ex-wife. I hope she's happy, and old Clapper too, Clapton. We had good rhythm and a little slide. Then she stepped in, did me a favor. I threw them both out. It didn't even rhyme. I actually like the song. Maybe the first couple of times it's like, oh, this is bad. But I like it. It's not a great song, but it's okay, right? And it's just a little messy, and I don't think his extra lyrics add anything really. But once again, in some of these songs, like So Sad and Bye Bye Love, you can hear in his voice. I don't know, maybe there's a couple songs where he's been drinking too, right? You can just hear the sadness in his vocals. And just speaking of the cover for a minute, I do like the cover. It's kind of like, once again, a Sgt. Pepper type cover, but I think that would have been pretty cool for the cover too. So the music, overall, the music is fantastic. You have Billy Preston and all these other great musicians, Willie Weeks, Ringo Starr, on, I think, just one track, or maybe more than that. So overall, No, it's not as great as All Things Must Pass or Living in the Material World. So it is, a step down. And I also wanted to mention, when I rank these albums and I do the ratings, I can, through the series, I might change a rating along the way. And I've decided, I gave Electronic Sound a C, and I've decided to give it a C minus. That's more, but like I said, maybe once every 3 years, I will listen to it because, like I said, there are some kind of interesting sounds in it. But back to this album, I have decided, and I don't think I'll change my rating, it goes into 4th spot, and I've given it just a solid B. I don't think it's a great album, but I think it's a good to very good album, depending on the song. And I would love your thoughts. I'm sure some of you will think, it deserves a much lower rating, but this is just my opinion, right? Everybody has their own opinion, and they're not right and they're not wrong. And that is it. I would love your thoughts on Dark Horse in the comments section below. And please remember to like the video, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.